What's up, everybody? It's Quadruple G. Just here to talk to you about, I think, the game keycard situation today from Nintendo. Now, this has been a controversial thing. I'm kind of late coming to this. I'm just trying to keep these uploads somewhat consistent because I want to talk to the people out there. There's a lot of comment section conversation going on, and there's a lot of people that are arguing or debating or just kind of giving their thoughts. And I think it's good for those things to happen because I think we learn from each other. Um, and sometimes I'm not really the nicest in the comments, which I should be nicer. I could always improve on that. But some people, likewise, don't really show the same courtesy or don't really have good reasons as for why they're saying what they're saying. So, um, it's just something super quick, but I don't like this game key card situation, and I don't like it because I think it's just greedy. I think Nintendo's just being greedy here. I'm just gonna straight up tell you, get straight to the point, and I'm gonna say that's what this is all about. This is what this is all about. Now, some people say it's about the size of the game not fitting on the cartridge. So Nintendo had their boardroom meetings and they sat down and they said, we have all these game sizes, they won't fit on the cartridge. So let's make the game key cards, which for me is just not a great explanation of what's going on here. Let me turn this light off. Sorry, it's dark. But it's just not a great situation as to a good explanation to this situation. Now, I think they could have easily, this is their job, right? They could have easily made a larger gigabyte cartridge and just either ate the cost or charge the consumers for it. Now, some people don't want to pay more for the Switch, and I think Nintendo's trying to keep this happy medium between price and between price of entry, basically. But I think it's a misstep. I think it's a misstep. I think it is also convenient, right? Of them, all these decisions are just leading to you basically giving up your rights to ownership, or basically you giving up, your just you're kind of giving them all the power in their ecosystem to control you, at the same time, um like harming themselves in a way, because if people can't play it on the virtual console, which they got rid of, which is a huge mistake in my opinion, um or even on their digital store, uh the Nintendo store, the Switch store, um and even NSO, right? You can't play these old games. Like, they're leaking out small game, small game, small game, and it's like some titles are so obscure. I'm not a subscriber to NSO because I don't like what they did uh, when they shut down the virtual console, and when they shut down the 3DS and the Wii U online. It's just like Nintendo has a bad track record of holding up their online shops. There was that big controversy not too long ago with the Wii, and where some games wouldn't work because they say even if you download them, you could still download them, but it's not true. It's not true. Sometimes stuff doesn't work. Xbox shuts down not all the time, but they do shut down and you can't play for a day or two. PlayStation, these happen at least a few times a year, um, and you're at the mercy of what these companies are doing. And I think it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, but it's one that they want you to ride on. And I think if you get on that train and you ride on that, and you're not seeing what's the most important thing, um, with this whole digital future stuff happening, I think you're making a big mistake. And I think that um you're not, sorry, let me just cycle this real quick. I think that you're not seeing the big picture, and I think you're kind of letting it happen to you. It's like the analogy of the frog sitting in the pot of water. I don't even know if that's a thing or if that's real or not. It's a saying from somewhere. I have no idea, but I've never tried it. But uh yeah, it's kind of like that, where you're just sitting in the pot for a long time. You're contributing. Some people are paying or even advocating for these digital futures. I don't really think that they fully know what they're advocating for. Maybe their lifestyle is a certain way, but if it's a certain way, the least you should do is just allow for choice, right? You should allow for choice, and don't bag on people for having their choice. Like, I don't care if you buy digital. I would never do it though, because it's just not something that I've ever done, really, unless it's the only option. Sorry, y'all. This light is messed up. Sorry. Um, but yeah, it's crazy to me. I think it's greed, and I think that's like the main problem that I have with all this stuff, is that people are foregoing a lot of things for the sake of convenience, and it's like, that's why I don't like iPhone, just for example, because of all their controversies in the past. I don't like Apple. And I don't buy Apple products for myself. My wife loves them. I, I don't like them, but like I've said before, um, but yeah, I will never contribute to that, because I think it's morally and ethically wrong. So, um, I don't know. I just wanted to make this quick video and see what you guys think. I think there's a huge conversation about this. Like, there's just so many points. Like, you can see that the physical games are selling more, or they were, at least a couple months ago. The physical, actually on cart games for the Switch were selling more than the game keycard ones. um and I just hate them. They're just a hunk of plastic. um they I think they're good for the resell, but that's pretty much it. I mean, like, I don't resell my games. I don't. The only thing that I do with my games, maybe I might resell them, is if I buy bundles or batches, or like lots of games, which I haven't done in a really long time, because my collection is fine now. Like, I'm getting to the point where my collection's okay. So it's like, I don't buy game lots anymore. There's really no point in that. So I don't really have like extra games to sell. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't, if I was gonna actively buy a new game keycard game on a new console for like the Switch 2, I would never resale it back to GameStop or something like that for like a quarter of the price or whatever they're offering you. Maybe if you're a pro, they'll give you like a quarter point one or something like that, which is, they don't really give you a lot, but um it's just kind of a joke. It's kind of a joke. They should have figured out another solution. I don't know what that would have been. So, like, some people were speculating about the UMDs, or even installing the cartridge, like, putting everything on there on like a slower speed cartridge and then installing it to the memory, which I think is another problem, because the Switch memory is just so terrible. Um, it's just not enough right now for the Switch 2. The original Switch is an amazing console. It's my most played console, I think, of all time, behind the Xbox 360. Um, they just did it so right in so many ways, I think. But yeah, Xbox is going the way of the dodo probably pretty soon. Um, you know, they should be decreasing prices instead of raising prices on their consoles. It's just crazy. But the landscape of gaming and the game keycard situation, I just don't like it. Um, I really feel like they could have done another way. They could have figured something else out. I personally would have paid for the carts to be all on for the data to be all on the cart, for the game to be all on the cart. You buy a copy, that thing will last you 30 years. I'm pretty sure they'll last a long time. The flash memory is probably pretty good now. They're probably figuring out how to deal with that whole issue. Um, but yeah, they could have figured something else out. I would have paid more. I would have also paid more for the Switch 2 to have the Tegra in it, the chip that's in the Switch 1. I think it's called the X1 or the X2. I can't remember. But that chip, I wish they would have just shoved it inside of the Switch 2, charged you a little bit more, which I would have been more than happy for paying for. But all that stuff aside, I think it's greed. I think, we got to see what's most important in life. And I think we can't take these things or this stuff with us when we go. So, I think what's really important is just the morals behind what they're doing and the ethics. And that's what I don't like. I think that's the thing that bugs me the most is just the fact that they're trying to squeeze you for money. And I think, they don't have to give it away for free, because I think it's worthy, like people's effort and work and passion has gone into these pieces of art. Honestly, they're pieces of art, But anyways, I think I'm gonna just leave it right there. But I'm gonna just say a Bible verse real quick. It's 1 Timothy 6:10. It says, "For the love of money is a root of all sorts of evil, and some, by longing for it, have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs." And I think, so verse 11 says, "But flee from these things, you man of God, and pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, perseverance, and gentleness." Verse 12 says, "Fight the good fight of faith. Take hold of the eternal life to which you were called, and you made the good confession in the presence of many witnesses." Anyways, that could just be him talking. He's talking about being a pastor, basically, about being a leader in the church, and about teachers and teaching and stuff like that. That's kind of like the context of this portion in 6. And he's talking about how the leaders should conduct themselves, because Paul was saying that to Timothy, right, and to the leaders of the church, that to be content, right, to be content with whatever you have, and to be grateful for what you have. And some people were taking the church and trying to make money from it. So, that's not really the whole point of this, which is why I think, it's obviously a different context than this Nintendo thing, but I think there's something to be said about the way someone, or a people in general, or an organization, because the church is an organization, should live their lives. And I know at the end of the day, Nintendo is trying to make money, but I think that the passion and the care for gaming, it's like they're foregoing that by doing the things that they're doing now. The games are fine, right? The games are fine. The games are, I think, it's not really the problem, but I think third-party publishers are taking advantage of what Nintendo's doing. And I think, why wouldn't they, right? It's like, Nintendo made something. Nintendo literally made something and gave people an option. You don't think they're going to take the option? Whose fault is that? It's Nintendo's fault at the end of the day. So I'm 100% blaming Nintendo. There are some companies that are saying, no, we're not going to do that. We're like Cyberpunk, which I don't really like that game. I haven't bought it, but there's other games that are all physical. Obviously, Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong and stuff like that. But those are all in the cart, and for obvious reasons, right? Because it's Nintendo. But anyways, it's just crazy. It's crazy. I don't really like what they're doing with all this stuff. I think that they created a problem. They created a problem, and I think they were like the last hope with this new generation, and they kind of fumbled it. And it's a pretty big fumble. And I think they even did that survey a couple, I think it was like a couple months ago, asking people about how they felt about it. And that, I don't think that went well for them at all. And glad, I'm glad that that's happening. And I hope this little video um, just kind of helps. There's obviously a lot of points and articles and stuff that I'm not bringing up on purpose because it's a lot of information, and I can't do that. I don't edit these videos. It's just me talking to you like we were friends, just like we were hanging out. So, but anyways, hope that Bible verse blessed you, and I hope at the end of the day you can see that all this stuff is temporary, but it's stuff that we care for, and it's like it's fun. It's fun. It's fun stuff. God is a God of fun. I'm always gonna say that, and I think that's the reason why I'm making these videos, and I'm still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing with all this stuff because I have no idea, but I just have this want to talk to everybody about the Lord and about other things in life that are just great fun, and just just the good, the bad, and the ugly, but God bless you guys. I hope the verse blessed you, and if you ever want to reach out, I'm down to have a conversation. But give me some suggestions too. If I should just, I don't know, if I should be walking out, not at night, I don't know, doing this in a different way. But I just want it to be a blessing, and I want people to see that there's gamers out there that are also Christian, because I feel like there's a bad relation with that, and that over the years with the whole Dungeons and Dragons thing, and just there was Vice City back in the day, and Grand Theft Auto. My parents hated that game, and they were not Christian really, but they didn't like it. They thought it was just bad. There's tons of games like that that have gotten bad like raps, and people don't know that there's good games out there that you could still play as a Christian and have fun. Oh my gosh. Sorry, let me switch this back on here. Anyways, I should have reset that a while ago, but I don't know if I can edit that out. I might, but I gotta learn how to do this stuff too. But anyways, God bless you guys. Take care, and have fun. And give me some feedback, some rebuttals. Peace out.